What's up, guys? Quick little video here. Got the 3-ton AC cooling the upstairs. Used to have a 4-ton. So just a little overview. It's a pretty good sized bedroom here. So this is a California King or whatever it is now. You can see that there's quite a bit of room on both sides. I mean, this is the cat's lair over there. There's that. 2 full computer desks, everything. And then a pretty deep bathroom there. So got a vent there, vent there, vent there. 4 vents in my bedroom. And we got a vent in this room, which you keep shut. A vent in the daughter's room. Vent in this room, which we have a friend staying there. Vent there. Vent in the bathroom. And then the vent in here, in this room here, my little projects room. That's a freaking mess. Oscilloscope and all that stuff. Monitors, TVs, everything in there. I don't use that room that much. I thought I was going to have to disconnect that room right there and put a mini split in there. Yeah, that's a vent. So, but, dude, I'd be damned if this thing's not keeping up. It hit like 112 earlier. Oh, it's starting to do it, 109 outside. Oh, it just changed because I walked in front of it. Watch this. Alexa, what is the weather?
Currently, in Glendale, it's 109 degrees Fahrenheit with partly sunny skies. Tonight, you can expect mostly clear skies with a low of 89 degrees.
Yeah. So when it was showing the temperature there, it's 109 outside right now at like 6 o'clock, 5:57 p.m. And dude, this thing's running great. I actually ran it down to like 74. Like on Sunday at one point, and I turned it back up. So I got to find the rest of the hardware because there's like a piece that you could screw to the wall and then snap this thing over there. Actually, I tried to stick this up over here or whatever, but I'm just setting it right here. I'm measuring the temperature in my room to control it. So if I look at the app, it tells me, both the reading here, which is colder than the reading in there, which is what this is showing. I don't know if this shows it. Yeah, sensors. See, it says it's 72 right here. That focus a little better. It says it's 72 here, and it's 76 at the little b. So it says it's 72 right here, which is what my Honeywell used to be set for like 78. Then we started running at 77 this year because the wife was home all the time for work. But it's warmer in the room, especially when you close the door. So I want it to run based on the room, not on the hallway, because the hallway gets cooled a little bit by the downstairs unit. Thermostat's down there. It's a big freaking ceiling. And but the air draws in right there for the downstairs unit. So, because I know it'll kind of, so this area stays a little cooler, easier than the bedrooms do. So with that sensor there, it's actually saying 76 in here, and you saw it says it's 72 in the hallway. So I'm running it considerably cooler with my 3-ton unit now than I had with the 4-ton, and I still got a 3.5-ton unit downstairs. Check this. Check your guys' messages here. I knew it would work just fine. I mean, you weren't gonna get 1600 CFM through that return anyway. Return's got 2 20 by 20s. It's a big return. It's 20 by 40. So now I have a 20 by 40 for the 3-ton unit. So that's like no problem. I do need to go up and put a return can on make a plenum on that air handler, the new air handler. It's just panned on the end, just like the old one was. So Orlando is humid, but not bad. 18 to 20 because of humidity. Yeah, when I fired this sucker back up, I wasn't quite getting 20. And it's probably because of the humidity was 52% or something like that on Friday morning. And then Saturday, or maybe it was Saturday, it started 50-something%. It was nasty, man. It sucked. And then guess what? It's like below 20% today. I think it was like 11%. I looked earlier. So we were back to a dry heat today. Issue condensation blow off in ream and horizontal right, which is how I have it with the coil backwards like that. Yeah, they have you flip the coil around from what an upload flow would be, but I don't think I'll have that issue here. 1/16" flex. That flex is big. It was a pretty big flex up there. I bet you that's an 18" at least up there. I don't think that was a 16. It's pretty big. It was on a 4-ton unit. So, yeah, this house is like twice what our first house was. It's in old Glendale, pretty close to Old Town Glendale. So they were, we got it for under 300, and I think now they're worth more than that. But the same size house, if we were like an Arrowhead, part of Peoria or something, dude, it'd be like 400 and some $1,000. So, but we have like old houses all around us, like so. This is like just big houses that were kind of in one of the last developed areas here in Old Glendale. Must have been like old farmland or something. Trying to check your messages, so I'm just holding the camera weird. 95, 104-degree heat with 60-70% humidity. And ew, dude, that sucks. I hate the humidity. I visited my uncle in North Carolina, right off the coast. 1987, I think it was, because I was 17. I was already working full time, and I remember I was like a mechanic back then. And my grandpa needed somebody to come help drive, so I did say go. We were gone for a month, and it was in the summer. And I was like, what the hell is this? It was nasty. It was almost worse than being in the Arizona desert. So put an evergreen ECM in the outdoor unit. Do they sell aftermarket ECMs? I have like one or two old ones from Train. And I had one hooked up temporarily to one of the good ones for a while, and I took it out. I thought it was making noise or something, but it was very used. But they're also deeper, so kind of drops the fan down a little bit. And I can't drop my fan any lower than where it is because it's just above the heat sinks on that freaking what do you call it? That VFD that's in there. So gonna start playing with compressor modulation. I might go to 2-stage here after I make sure this works balls out for a week or so. And this thermostat will do 2-stage, but I don't know if I saw any extra wires in there. I have to find the box to this where it is because well, I might have saved the part. I looked for it in my mess, dude. My hobby room is a mess, dude. It's almost embarrassing, but I have so many things in here. Plus, we threw everything in this room when our house got flooded last fall, so it still hasn't been quite cleaned up. Although got it kind of open, but it's a mess. Here's another yuck. I have a handful of these freaking VFDs. That's why I even started doing these projects. I have like 3 or 4 of the big ones, and then I have like 3 or 4 of these because they were from changeouts from a wrong voltage. New, never used, but they were used because it was in equipment that was ordered and installed. It just never got used because they needed 460 volt, and they pulled these out, put 460 volt ones in there. So this is good for like small motors. Kind of cool. I was playing around with it. I was using this. I was actually using transformers and stuff and trying to step up 12 volts to like 300 volts. It was pretty hard to do. And if I use like 24 volts, it was in for my primary voltage, and then stepping it up like it was actually kind of working pretty good. I just have junk in there. That's just stuff I took apart. I throw in there, but somewhere I can't find the box to that Ecobee, but there should be that power stealer thing. They call it oh, I forgot what it's called now, but they have a word for it. It's actually, I took one apart and did it in a video about it a while back, and that it's actually pretty high tech thing with a triax in it and everything, capacitors. It's pretty cool. So I don't know where that box went. I don't think I'll put it up in there. I took apart some printers. I like keeping the old stepper motors and stuff. I have so much electronics and stuff in here. This is a board I was screwing with that I took out of a carrier. I was trying to get read the EEPROM or the programming on it because it is a microchip. But sometimes they had data protection turned on, so I don't think I can. I don't know. I might not be able to read that. I was going to hopefully to reprogram it. I was going to hijack maybe this chip and make it, and then reprogram if I could figure it out and like have it turn on these relays and stuff, and like make this be my water heater controller for shits and giggles. But I couldn't reprogram it. I could always trace some of that stuff out though and put another chip on there. I thought about it, just for the fun of it to make people freak. But What he said, Eric M needs one of those VFDs. What has he got going on? I saw one of his videos the other day. I don't watch as many videos. Is it because I'm so spread thin? I'm not on this account too much to watch stuff as much as the other one, but I don't know. I'm always watching stuff about the COVID pandemic and stuff like that. I know it's like political stuff, so I kind of keep that separate from this channel. Do you play any Demon Hunter with that guitar? Demon Hunter. Is that a band you listen to? I do know who Demon Hunter is. My daughter is downstairs like playing nonstop Skillet again. And that 10-year-old daughter, the one that's in the power chair, she's obsessed with Skillet. And she keeps logging into my account. And since now that I have YouTube Premium on my main account, not this account, it kind of sucks. You only get to use it on one account. But it takes away all the commercials and gives you can download and do all sorts of stuff. Well, she's playing Skillet right now, just nonstop. She doesn't really like Demon Hunter too much, but she likes Red and Decipher down a lot. Macy, what are you playing down there? What are you playing? Skillet. Oh, you better not be logged into my account. Demon Hunter. I've never tried to play the Demon Hunter songs, but Skillet is easy to play. For shits and giggles, I looked up the tablature for a couple of the songs. So Feel Like's a Monster or whatever. I don't remember how it goes now, but it's in drop D. This is another hobby that I freaking touched like maybe 20 hours a year or something. So I even have a freaking that's a MIDI interface, MIDI keyboard. And it just plugs into the computer, that old computer, and it freaking it was real technical software from like 20 years ago that still kind of works. Joe's Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter's pretty cool. They're like a more morally acceptable band, So is Red, which is pretty hardcore. I like Red. My daughter wants to go to a concert, but I don't know if I should do that. I did that to my oldest daughter, who was 25. Took her to concert when she was I took her to a Pillar and Project 86 concert when she was like 12, and the other kid was like 10. And then I took that one to Twitter. What the heck am I saying? To Trivium when she was 13. And then Ozfest, and I ruined her. And now she married some dude that was in a heavy metal screamo emo band. And luckily, he ain't really doing that anymore. But the band's called Reflectionless. If you look them up, they actually made some music videos. So that's who she's married to, one of the guitarists in that band. But they don't really play anymore. He's just concentrated on his regular 9-to-5 job now. So slow down a 3-speed PST motor with an indoor blower with a cabin series. What are you trying to say? 3-speed, like a regular motor with a, well, I don't know. Maybe if I threw my shirt on, I'm not dressed like anymore really for outside. I came inside all beat up, but yeah, plus my live stream a hiccup because I'm on Wi-Fi right now. So hopefully this is working pretty good. Usually I turn it off of Wi-Fi just to be on Verizon, but I have PSC motors where I just disconnect the cap and I just hook up the freaking meters at 3-phase and they run. They run way screwed up on the power factor and pull way more amps than they're supposed to, which is a good test to load my VFD and my solar out there. But they run on it, and I can change the speed. And the interesting thing though is they get more inefficient as I speed it up, so it barely gets to 60 hertz and blows. And I have another blower, the Goodman blower I took out Saturday. It's hooked up to my VFD outside at the solar panels right now, and it blows. And just like the other motor that I had hooked up, if you kick it up to faster frequency, it won't speed up anymore. The rotational speed of magnetic field actually gets way out of sync, and it doesn't have the torque anymore. It will actually start slowing down, and especially if I kick it to like 120, it'll like crawl and pull crazy amps and stuff. But yeah. Tried lowering, she says, at 73 to see if you could get it there with the smaller unit. I had it set for 74 on Sunday, and it did get down to 74. But 75, it was actually kind of cold for me at that temperature. And again, that's reading at the sensor in my bedroom, and the temperature out in the hallway was actually cooler, so the average is a little lower than that. And so 75 is probably as cold as I really feel comfortable with. Maybe I could try 74, but I want to do that maybe once I get the solar hooked up, because right now it's a sucking power. I noticed it was drawing when I started it up the other day, and it was a little of a high load, but I was up to like 19 amps on the AC input, single phase input, and that seemed like quite a quite a bit for a 3-ton. But like it was started up when it was hot inside and like 82 inside, like 100 and something outside, and real humid. So I had a full load on it. It's probably a little less now, but I hardly ever work on single phase stuff, and so of that size, so I can hardly even remember exactly what a typical amps was. I thought bigger units like 4 tons were around 20 amps, so I was kind of surprised to see like 19 almost 19 or whatever on that 3-tonner. Let's see, Joe. So let's see what else. Then if you add another cap in series with the main winding. I don't know. I was experimenting with them before to try to screw with them, but I only got so far, and I didn't really keep trying to mess with it a lot. And then I just hooked it up as 3-phase for shits and giggles, and it worked. Hooking it up, your normal high speed, the common wire, which is yellow or purple or whatever, and then the brown wire from the cap is the third leg, and it freaking works. It's just choir boys prefer 68 degrees. Dude, I was sitting in 66 degrees today. I was on that roof at the surgical center, and while I was fixing one stage of a big carrier unit, and when I had waiting for it to vacuum down or whatever, I needed to take a break. I crawled inside the air handler, which goes to cool the surgical rooms inside. So the return air was 66 degrees with one stage broken. So it was nice and crisp in there. And it's a big freaking monster carrier unit. So it actually has like light switches on the outside, and you flip a light on, open the door, go inside it and close it. It just sat in the freaking in the dry section inside of it. And there's a light on in there. I let the door shut, and there's a light, and the return air is blowing coming through the filters at me, and it was 66. It was nice. What's the run load amp for that condenser? Well, the condenser rating is for 3-phase, and it says 12 point something amps for 3-phase. But so single phase will be more than that, before it goes out to the 3-phase. So, because it's divided up, Didn't fart. Well, I'm in there freaking in the thing that's for a clean room. I'm sitting inside it. But, it does have I think it has filters on the supply side too. So my germs hopefully wouldn't go down in there. It's pretty highly diluted. It goes to 3 or 4 surgical rooms through variable air volume dampers. What is my take on the vaccine? Oh, you went there. This is not my political channel, but I will not be taking a vaccine. And to tell you guys the truth, I'm 50 years old this year. I turned 50 a couple months ago. My mom told me when I got to be like 12 years old, she was like, hey, I didn't get you like the measles shot as a kid, which is pretty standard. And they say you get sicker if it's harder to get over it when you get older. Nobody was afraid of the measles. And here's the thing. Search for measles couldn't kill the Brady Bunch video on YouTube. They blocked it. Go to Google, or preferably go to Bing or DuckDuckGo or something and search it. You'll find the videos on YouTube. Google blocks the search for all those cool video clips, but somebody put like a lot of the clips up, and it'll just show you back in the 60s, the mentality. Nobody was afraid of the measles, but yet about 2 or 3 years ago, the news had everybody hyped because they're trying to sell measles vaccines. More because people were backing off the MMR vaccines. They were hyping it, and they were actually having people think that they're going to die from that stuff. But nobody thought that growing up. I didn't even get it. So I didn't have I had maybe 1 or so vaccine when I was a baby, and that was it. And then I didn't have a vaccine again until I was 17. I got a tetanus shot. And here's what's stupid about the tetanus shot. I stepped on a freaking nail through my shoe at a mechanic's job at 17 and had to go. And then guess what? They give you a shot. But the shot doesn't. It's stupid, because if you actually got the full-blown tetanus virus and giving you a retarded microwaved vaccine is futile, because it ain't going to help you. It build up an immunity for something that you just got infected with. You know what I mean? The theory is you're giving your body a chance to build antibodies to something, and they're giving it to you microwaved and retarded. So you build it up, easier without getting all really sick, supposedly making you just build up the antibodies faster. But the problem with vaccines, if you look, is they guess on strains, they do a bunch of stuff, there's a bunch of corruption, they jack people up, and they have a bunch of adjuvants and stuff in there, they call it. So basically, because it's a dead, kind of half dead, not, mutated monkey virus, shit, that because they literally grow in monkey kidneys or chicken embryos or aborted babies, which is not a rumor. You can actually look it up. They actually admitted to it. Tissue. It's all gross, and they inject those cells actually into you from the other people or animals. They add an ingredient that stimulates an immune reaction because your body wouldn't to that non-real, not full strength virus they injected you with. So they put like a thing in there that makes your body react. Well, that causes your body to react wrong to a bunch of bad things, and there's a bunch of people that argue on that stuff, and scientists and stuff that have come out and said that's bad, and that's why a lot of people have bad reactions too. And it makes your body burns out your immune system. There's a bunch of weird things. There's not a lot of sound science in it, but you got to know that pharmaceutical companies have a lot of lobbying power, making billions of dollars a year, and ever since 1986 with the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, look it up. It's a .gov website. Because the pharmaceutical companies were actually getting sued out of existence for all the harm from vaccines, and you can look up the 76 CBS special where the swine flu jacked up thousands of people and they had to pull it from the market. 86, they made that thing. So the government just taxes like $1 on every vaccine, and then the government pays out injured people like $200 million a year in their data that they actually share. If you go look it up on the government website, the pharmaceutical companies are immune and not even in any lawsuits or anything for as long as it's a vaccine. They're totally immune. They don't get involved. They don't go to court. Nothing. The government just goes, "Oh, okay, you're hurt," and they pay them out quietly for it. I just opened a can of worms with all that information, but you guys could look that stuff up. It's pretty crazy. So actually myself, like I said, I just go out and get vitamin D and stuff like that, and I don't get vaccines, and my younger kids haven't had them, and they're like half grown. So that's what someone get a shoot. I can't be sharing my political stuff, but you just could find all that information I gave you. Unless somebody just finds me later. So I've been kind of against the vaccines for like 10 years or so. I didn't really have a thought on it before, but I've always been weird. I've always been a guy that doesn't go to the doctor unless it's needed. I was given after the stent they put in my heart when I slowed down and went to an in-house job and gained weight for a while, and then drank a bunch of Cokes and got that one of the veins plugged up on the heart, and they put a stent in me 6 years ago. So I went back out in the field and worked hard again, and then like a year ago I stopped taking their stupid drugs. Those drugs are freaking. They have to keep doing blood tests for that Lipitor type shit because it knowingly destroys your liver, and eventually then they'll need to give you pills for your liver, and then eventually you'll need a liver transplant. So fuck that. So and then ACE blocker, all that other shit. And that's one of the things they were saying. If you were going to get treated if you get COVID and you're on those medicines, it reacts bad. So it's a good thing. Like if I were to get COVID, if I were to still be on those heart medicine pills, it could be bad for me. You could actually die or something from reactions. So pretty crazy. Someone just asked kids. No, my older two kids had some vaccines, and I think I jacked up one daughter a little bit at one point. But the younger two, the one has hardly any, and then the 14-year-old and the one 10-year-old only had one because they gave it to her without telling us, and it was a hepatitis B one, which is retarded because they gave her a blood transfusion. That one was in the hospital for 2 months when she was born from cerebral palsy, and they gave her a blood transfusion, and it was another retarded move. It's like, okay, let's give her a vaccine after the fact. She might have full-blown hepatitis B from our tainted blood. So, but let's give you the weakened retard injection with all the adjuvants and other byproducts too, for some stupid reason, because they just think, okay, maybe in the future. It's stupid. It wouldn't help her getting it if the blood was tainted. Just like the tetanus shot, the day I went in stepping on a nail, the tetanus shot would be worthless for stepping on the nail. In theory, it would help me if I got tetanus in the future because I'd have the antibodies, supposedly, but... Alex Jones. I used to watch him a lot, but since he's not on YouTube, and even before he got banned from YouTube, it was just he's a sledgehammer that's good to like hammer people and wake them up and let them go look for things themselves and then move on to other stuff, but I stopped listening to him like daily a long time ago. Now his son is doing it, and I see clips go around. They're actually not too bad. I don't think Alex Jones is CIA, because if you go back and look at his videos from the early, like the 90s, when the dude was just walking around with a camera and maybe had maybe one other person with him sometimes, he was just doing it like on the side. He was getting on like local access TV at night and stuff like that, and on certain, and then finally started getting a radio. And he was like small time, and you could tell he was serious believer of all that stuff. And then he broke into that Bohemian Grove thing, man, which is pretty crazy. But he built up that empire that he has now and had a monster to feed, and it just got really, selling all his male enhancement stuff and everything now, and he's old and a little prideful and all that stuff, but he's not. I don't think he's actually, for as big of a thing as he became, I don't think he's that corrupted. But he did just lose his marriage, though, so that's fucked up. Parker and Sons has a huge shop. Yeah, Parker and Sons, I see their vans around. They're always on the ads. Think of mixing R20 to R22. I don't know, but in a mini split, I must be an old mini split if it's R22, huh? I know I've mixed in. I know people have mixed in some of that other stuff. And 407C, I think you were able to put in something that made it not freak out. Trying to catch back up on these, you guys' comments. Dehumidifier that still used R12 isn't 150. I don't know. I'm not familiar with 152. So anyway, this is supposed to be a quick video. It's supposed to be relaxing, but I thought when I walked by when I talked to my thermostat, now that I put the Big Brother thermostat up here, and remember, if you guys watched my other video, I got this thermostat for free from an Ecobee dealer. We just had to activate it, and then they wouldn't charge our company. I put it in the garage because I know it has a microphone in it. But yeah, watch this. Like Alexa, play Red Radio.
Red FM from Tuning.
Not that. No, Alexa, turn that off. Alexa, turn that shit off. Alexa, no, turn that shit off. That was horrible. I don't know what the hell is that. That's not Red. Alexa, play Red. I should know which band from.
Here's Red by Taylor Swift.
No. Alexa, no, that's horrible. Shit. Alexa, turn that shit off. Alexa, turn that shit off. It actually listens if you say it that way. Oh, man. Alexa, play Black Label Society. I know it won't mix that up. It's got a 1-inch speaker on it.
Black Label Society on Amazon Music.
Alexa, play next song. Alexa, play next song. Because it's not very keen to hearing me right here. I worked real good out there. Alexa, skip song. That was a wussy song. Should be playing something. Oh, that's a badass song right there. It's gonna sound really choice to the 1-inch speaker though. Watch this thing just jam out this 1-inch speaker when this song kicks in. Oh yeah. Alexa, turn it off. Alexa, turn it off. It's real responsive on the Echo Dot or whatever it is out in the garage. Might be a lot of echoing sound here. Oh no, you guys asked about 5G now. So 5G, I know not saying a lot, but I know several people that are spooked out by 5G. 5G means 5th generation wireless. It doesn't necessarily mean 5 gigahertz, but it's kind of, some of the bands are pretty close, starting about that range. Some of the T-Mobile is building up lower than that, actually, just to get their stuff more robust for now. But Verizon is 39 gigahertz, and another band lower than that. I can't remember what it was. The theory that people are freaked out about is, water like vibrates at 2.4, gigahertz basically in that range, which is what your microwave oven uses. It's just a big 1,000-watt transmitter is all it is, contained into a reflecting around it to absorb by your food, and because it stimulates water molecules and that makes them heat up. So that always spooks people out. Guess what? All our Wi-Fi shit has been 2.4 gigahertz. Our Bluetooth headphones 2.4 gigahertz, but it's so small. They say it's non-ionizing radiation, so it supposedly won't like cause destruction. It's so small. And that Bluetooth first came out, it actually used to work like 100, 200 feet down a roof when I had the first Bluetooth headphones, and then after that, they must have turned down the power because I can't even reach the other side of a AC unit without it skipping. But so then they found out that in the new 5G, the middle of the band is 60 gigahertz approximately, because it goes up like 100 in the allocated frequency spectrums. And they're like, well, that's what stimulates oxygen molecules. And everybody's like trying to say that's why we got this corona and it stops you from breathing and stuff. But the thing is, it's really low power. It's non-ionizing radiation, and it's like not much more power than your Wi-Fi. And 5G, actually, those spectrum ranges actually suck in compared to reliability from existing 4G, 900 megahertz and up a little faster and stuff. It doesn't go through walls worth of shit. So they have to put like 5G repeaters. They're just like Wi-Fi basically devices. They're not up high. They're mounted way lower, like on light poles and stuff. And they have to put up a shitload of them to get a coverage. But when you do have signal, and they don't go through walls worth of crap or bodies or anything worth of crap, so they need a lot of repeaters, like I said. But when you do have signal, evidently the connection speed is so much faster, like blazing. It's like going from dial-up was to go to high speed. So going from like 4G's highest capability up to what 5G is capable of, when you have a good connection, it's blazing fast. It's like that much of an increase again. The other thing is the latency. The latency, which is the delay of going through each buffer, each microprocessor, or whatever, each step between you and the other computer you're talking to, because it's so much faster, the latency, the milliseconds is like 100th, like 100th or something like that, or maybe 1,000th. It's like blazingly quick compared to 4G, and their goal is they need it for autonomous hardware. The Tesla driving cars, driving semis, all that kind of stuff, Big Brother stuff, whatever. That's where it could get scary because it unleashes the power of Big Brother more than you have it right now. But it's not robust. It takes a bunch of them. It doesn't go very far. It's already shown that once they get, that it just, as soon as you get any distance or go between one or more wall from it, it's done. You just have to drop to 4G. It won't be everywhere. It won't be in rural areas. It won't be spread out on the highway. And the people that are claiming 5G is killing everybody, well, they think 5G just got turned on and it's everywhere, but it's not. It's actually, if you go on like the map here, there's a few little spots of it, like in Tempe and a couple spots in Phoenix. It's like nowhere. I've never even seen it turn on my phone, and this is a 5G phone. But New York City, places like that where it's highly dense, if they put them up everywhere there, it actually is a huge improvement. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some weird things about it, but I don't think the power is very there. But people, there's all some of the people I listen to, they're all, oh yeah, the 5G and stuff, and I have to just cringe a little bit because I think that's not their expertise. And actually, I went to electronics school. I didn't go to HVAC school back in 1990. So communications, we had a little class on that, and stuff. So I have a little bit, and then I hung out with radio repair people. I used to repair the TV and radios and satellites and everything, dishes and stuff. So I mean, I have some background in that stuff. So I definitely know more than the layman on that stuff. Yeah, what's this guy saying? UV actually can have really bad effects on the body. Oh, ultraviolet? You talk about light and stuff now? Yeah, because if you look in those UV bulbs, it'll like destroy the cells right in your eyeballs. And it'll if you keep exposed to it, you'll get all sorts of burns on your face and skin as if you were welding with the helmet not on. Some guy at Donnelly Service Center back in the day that I worked with, where I went there like an idiot back in 2003 or so, that's where I got all those original Wall of Shame photos at back in the day. But those guys were hacks. It's a long time ago. Anyway, I seen this dude. I'm like, what the hell happened to you? It looked like he welded with no helmet on. And I stood by somebody with no helmet on with wire feed back when I was 17 at mechanics place. So I know what happens. My eyes, it didn't hurt until the next day, and then just skin itched and everything. It's ultraviolet and everything. But anyway, this guy, I'm like, what happened to you? His freaking eyeballs were bloodshot. His freaking skin was all like red rash looking. He was at the home show, and him and this guy there decided it would be cool to not only show the homeowners that walk through this, like, whatever they were set up at in a booth, not just show them the UV hardware, but they actually wired it up and plugged it into the wall and left it hooked up all day. So people passing by probably wasn't all that good for them either, the brief time they were there, but these dudes were sitting at the home show booth looking at it all day, and yeah, their eyes were burning for a couple days after that. Not good. Actually, I heard that it actually destroys cells, so which is why it works to kill viruses on contact. The ultraviolet light. Take years before 5G takes over. Yeah, 5G is going to be they got to build it up, and it's only going to be in big cities. It'll be in Phoenix, Tempe, maybe here in Glendale where I live, but you won't have it like in spread out areas. It there's no sense because it doesn't go through buildings. It doesn't go far. 4G is like way better for that stuff. So until the speeds actually need higher, but I have a Wi-Fi that's I paid like $300 for it. It was like a gaming one because I was pissed at the one I had. It's a Microsoft store. It's a D-Link, I think, or maybe it's the other brand. I don't know. Anyway, one of those brands. Anyway, but it's got two 5 gigahertz radios and one 2.4 to fall back to, and 5 gigahertz is faster by a lot when you have the connection and throughput. But as soon as you go through a couple walls in my house, it's not reliable. I had to drop when my house was flooded because I could never watch HD worth of crap, or especially 4K. Don't even dream of that. But I couldn't watch some stuff downstairs, especially my Plex server, which isn't as compressed as like Netflix and stuff works because they compress the crap out of it with really good codecs and stuff. But like when you use a Plex server or something, you're using live TV, it wouldn't. It would skip. I couldn't watch it downstairs. When the house flooded, I ran my Cat 6 wire down there, and there's a switch down there, so it goes right to the TV and stuff down there now. And so that just goes to show you a $300 router. By the time you go through a couple walls and go downstairs, it sucked. And when I bought one of the Roku, because this LG TV already, the OS system's already so bad or outdated already, that Plex server stopped working on it, or it didn't work as good. And Hulu stopped working, no longer supported. So I added a Roku. The first Roku, I got the best one you could get that was still wireless. I was like, there's no 5G in it. I did a search on the internet. They said they don't bother putting 5G in, not 5G, sorry, 5 gigahertz radio speed for your Wi-Fi in a Roku because it's not robust enough in a typical house going through walls. They said that 2.4 gigahertz passes through walls better, more reliable, so Roku don't even bother with the 5 gigahertz radio. How about that? I had to look that up. And so anyway, I like everything hardwired, so I actually looked and found one that's hardwired, and it wasn't hardwired. My house is nuts with Cat 5, Cat 6. It's got cables going through. There's a cable going through behind there, and there's a switch, and it connects to all sorts of devices through the switch. There's a switch in there, and there's a switch downstairs. It's split to so many hardwire, and then, of course, I got a lot of Wi-Fi stuff like my phone is on right now, but yeah, that's it. Yeah. I get carried away on all this geek stuff, but you guys keep bringing it up. So, yeah. So, but yeah. And the other thing, nobody brought it up that I know of unless I scroll back and look, but, might as well ask me what I think of the flat earth. Because I actually know a couple of people that believe that. And if you guys go back a couple of videos, when that guy had that mini split and he couldn't get it to turn on in his off-grid survival rig that he brought over, and he couldn't get his new mini split that runs off of batteries to start up. He painted over the front of it, so the infrared didn't work. But anyway, my one guy goes, well, who would do that? And he was being sarcastic about himself. And my other friend goes, a flat earther, because the guy was a flat earther that did that to his survivor. And they're all like laughing. Oh! I was recording when they said that, so that's in that video if you guys go back a little bit, But this is funny. We like the guy. He's cool. But I do know a couple people that believe the flat earth. I don't believe it. because I think I used to install satellite dishes and all that stuff, and those objects are way up there. I used to install Prime Star when they were a thing in the earlier mid '90s, and then DirecTV and stuff came about, which was so much easier to install and smaller. And I was up in the mountains, out in the boonies. You could be down in a canyon, and as long as you had clear line of sight to where that object was in the sky, it wasn't from a radio tower in secret like these flat earthers try to claim in their videos. But don't even get me started on the flat earthers. I almost got myself started. But yeah. EEV in the air handler? No, it's got a TXV in there. It's going to work. The most I could probably ever back the capacity down would be maybe like to 70% or something, like a two-stage scroll probably does anyway. And those use TXVs. The old train that did two compressors, or the old Carrier that did twin signal, they worked 50%, 100%. They just slowed the blower down, and the TXV would just throttle down when based on temperature. So this would throttle down probably within range. The little bit that I would slow the scroll down and the blower down at the same time, I think it would probably just adjust fine. So that's the second or third time I've been asked about an electronic expansion valve. I guess they sell kits for it. So that would be quite the thing for me to like home brew. I do work on devices with those. I had the second bad one on another Fredericks unit. And it's because the wires, people are careless, and the wires are like tight when they strap them, and someone pulls on them and they rip them right out of the coil. They're like little tiny like sewing string gauge wires going into it. So they need to beef that up or something, or do something to work with some strain reliefs or something, because they're ripping them right out of the freaking molded coil that screws on top of the freaking expansion valves. I got another one that's broke on that new hotel job. So we got to get one for that. So, anyway, well, 41 minutes. This has to be a world record. But, yeah, I can feel my air on. It's nice and cool. I can't hear the unit running in here. Usually I just hear the bah from the Goodman unit. But somebody noted in my other comment, they go, that was loud hearing the switching frequency of the VFD. But the camera picks it up when you go right up to it. But I think it's not loud in the ears at all. It actually sounds pretty cool. And you don't even hear it unless you walk up to it. So there's no reason to adjust it or do anything like that. It's just working. So today was what was it, 112 or something. And that's why I hooked up the Alexa. I hooked up the freaking Ecobee solely so I could watch the temperature from remote when I wasn't home. I wanted to see if it would not keep up. And I have the upstairs set colder than the downstairs. Downstairs is like set at 77 or something. So I'm making this unit run the most, and it's keeping up. It's nice and cool in my room. It's cooler than I've ever kept it any other summer. And like I said, this summer we kicked it down a little lower because my wife was here working from home until just a week ago. She got a new job after getting laid off. Another HVAC company, commercial, which she's done for 20 years also. Who do you think makes the best chicken sandwiches? Well, I'm not big on chicken sandwiches. The family, of course, is going to say Chick-fil-A. Sometimes, if it's fresh and not under the heat lamp, Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich is pretty good. But if they give you one that's been sitting under the heat lamp, I think the wife's home and she's loud. If it's been sitting under the heat lamp, that Wendy's chicken sandwich is rank, man. It's just god awful. But my wife, every time I'm doing a video, she comes home and just goes yelling at the kids, or me just being loud. What's so loud? No. Oh wait, she's been home. Maybe she cooked. Weird. But I was gonna say, if you guys go back like years, like maybe a little over 10 years ago, you want to hear my wife yell? She came home with the kids, and my older kids were younger, and I don't think I had these ones yet, or maybe my 14-year-old here was a baby. But I had a vacuum pump running on the kitchen table, hooked up to a freaking laboratory thing. I had a baby food jar sealed up with a Schrader tap and a pressure gauge and a vacuum line hooked up to it, and I was boiling water with a vacuum pump just to see if it would freeze the remaining water. And guess what it did? It got the remaining water that was evaporating out, went down to the last quarter inch and froze to ice in the bottom of it. You guys can find that. It's like I don't know, they're saying something about making ice or something. You'll find my video. It's old, but you'll hear my wife come in, what the F is going on in my kitchen, or something like that. So you can't post. Oh, someone's trying to post something. I don't know. So, use the elevator trains. Yeah, I've seen the new trains use the EEVs. Years ago, I did put in a unit. Somebody I knew at work, you know, and worked at an in-house job. They bought a house that was like foreclosed, some short sale from somebody else or something. Somebody stole the condenser unit. And so the bank put in a new condenser unit, R22, to match the piece of crap Goodman unit up in the attic that was 20 years old. The Goodman unit, when they got in, it was plugged, nasty, rusted apart, and leaking. So they didn't want to, they just had a brand new condenser outside, like a 10 SEER, 12, whatever. Maybe it was 13 because that's all they could get. I guess that would be the minimum. But they didn't want a whole new unit. I was like, okay. So I got a new Train air handler from ARS. And I got it, and I open up and go, oh, no, this is an R410. I told them I wanted R22. Anyway, I get looking at the manual. I'm like, wait, what the hell? There's just a switch in there, and you'd flipped it because it's electronic, and you can be set up for 22 or 410 with the flip of a switch. And it's got all the sensors in there. So, yeah, it worked fine. So that was that plastic. First time I ever installed one with that plastic cabinet. So, anyway. All right, guys. 45 minutes. So I will catch you guys later. See if it's dropped down below 109. I don't know if I don't walk. Yeah, it says, when I walk by the thermostat, it changes the display, but it says 109. 109 outside. Still. See, and when it sees you, see, this thing knows you walk by. If you used to let these things do it, they'll actually bump the temperature up on you. If it doesn't see any motion for a while or something. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of settings. Or maybe it just so, I guess maybe it just so it knows you're there during your unoccupied time. I'm not exactly sure, but it has sensors, and usually you can see them with the cameras that you can't see with your eyes. I know when I use a different camera, it saw it. Oop, there's one right there. Yeah, I can't see that with the naked eye, but I can see that little glowing there. That's HAL. That's HAL 1000 or whatever that was. Those that watched Space Odyssey know what that is. Yeah, so it's basically watching ass. So anyway, yeah, peace to you too, John, and all you guys in there. So gotta get down and check on food. That will catch you guys later.